The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the next 3 weeks, July 21st to August 8th, reveal that Taylor Hayes will not be married. Nick Maroney will also suffer a failed engagement, while Grace Buckingham contends with her own demise. The week of July 21st to 25th will make Liam Spencer feel better every day. Everyone will continue to marvel at Liam's tumor-free status owing to Grace and her colleagues' life-saving operation. Steffy Forrester will pay additional visits to Liam and show her delight at his survival. Sheila Sharp will be visiting soon, so she'll provide some hilarity when she strikes up an awkward conversation with Liam and Steffy. Despite the enthusiasm around Liam's new prognosis, Finn will grow increasingly dubious. Finn may back Grace into a position and force her to admit to her swindle after further investigation. Grace appears to have staged a fake tumor for Liam and preyed on Bill Spencer's emotions in order to make a quick profit. Grace's doom could be brewing by the time the week of July 28th to August 1st arrives. Will Grace lose her job and be arrested for the crimes she committed? Although Grace may show regret and tell a sob story about the bills she owing, Bill will be furious when he realizes he was tricked. On a brighter side, Nick will treat Brooke Logan like a queen when they explore Italy. Naples and Capri will provide the backdrop for some fantastic B&B scenes, including ones that make Brooke consider a real future with Nick. Nick will be hopeful about his happy ending, thus an engagement ring will come into play. Nick will arrange a marriage proposal, but he will not have the life he dreams of with Brooke. Rich Forrester's jealousy would finally lead him to spot Brooke in peril. There will be an accident that supposedly sends Brooke sliding into the sea, allowing Rich to spring into action. Rich saving Brooke will seal the deal on their new beginning together. Rich will no longer be able to deny that Brooke is his destiny, thus he will need to make some changes to his love life. That means Taylor's wedding plans are likely to be wrecked. If Taylor discovers Ridge is returning to Brooke during the week of August 4th to 8th, she is in for an emotional roller coaster. Taylor will undoubtedly release her rage on Ridge and Brooke. Taylor may be most upset with herself for believing that this time with Ridge would be different. Will Taylor eventually learn her lesson about these meaningless Ridge reunions? Ridge will always choose Brooke. Therefore Taylor must accept this and protect her heart the next time. The bold and the beautiful spoilers have been teasing Forrester Creations' upcoming vacation to Italy for quite some time. It will not be long before Eric Forrester, Rich Forrester, Brooke Logan, and Captain Nick Maroney arrive in Naples. While the FC team is in Italy, Taylor Hayes will be back in Los Angeles alone. According to the internet, she plans to spend time with someone unexpected while Ridge is abroad. Is it Bill Spencer? Continue reading to find out. Here's what's coming up on the CBS soap over the next 2 weeks, with spoilers ahead. Will Taylor Hayes play while Rich Forrester is away? Once the drama with Liam Spencer is resolved, some of the cast will be on site in Naples, Italy. According to the bold and beautiful teasers, Taylor will become suspicious about Ridge and Brooke spending time together in Europe. We know Nick Maroney is on the lookout. If Ridge sees his half-brother canoodling with Brooke Logan in Italy, he may realize that he still loves his ex-wife and wants her back. But what about his fiancée Taylor Hayes? Taylor hasn't shown interest in any male on the soap other than Rich Forrester in a very long time. However, this could all be changing. Bill and Taylor's unexpected friendship. There have been whispers of a romance between Bill and Taylor for over a year, and it appears like the stars are aligning for the couple. Taylor will want to retaliate against Ridge if he cancels the wedding and returns to Brooke. Ridge despises Bill more than Nick Maroney, and he desperately needs a therapist these days. According to bold and beautiful spoilers, Bill is dealing with a lot of emotions following Luna Nozawa's shooting and Liam's cancer operation. He has been single for a while and wants someone to cry on. Taylor is back home and lonely. Will she start spending time with Bill and bond with him over Liam? For as long as anyone could remember, Dr. John Finnegan was the picture of serenity under pressure. Finn had always maintained a calm demeanor, whether dealing with life-threatening crises in the hospital or managing the crazy ride of his marriage to Steffy Forrester. His calm, patience, and unshakable dedication gained him admiration from his co-workers and grudging respect from even the most suspicious members of the Forrester family. However, every man has a breaking point. Finn's long-awaited moment has finally arrived. The strain had been building beneath the surface for months, if not years, like a fault line gradually grinding its way toward an eruption. Finn maintained a professional, collected demeanor on the outside, but something darker was simmering behind his gaze. A guy can only take so much treachery, deceit, and emotional turmoil until the dam breaks. It started simply enough. Finn had spent the last few weeks immersing himself in his work at the hospital, partially to escape the upheaval at home. Steffi has been becoming more distant and guarded. He'd attempted to communicate with her, to grasp what was going on in her head. However, each talk concluded with deflection, evasion, or worse, gaslighting. She'd tell him he was imagining things, that she was just tired, and that he was being overly sensitive. But Finn knew Steffi. He understood the distinction between fatigue and evasion. Then there was the issue of Liam Spencer. Liam had always been an obstacle between him and Steffi. Finn had done his best to endure Liam and Steffi's co-parenting relationship because of their daughter Kelly, but his patience had worn thin over time. Liam constantly showed up at the most awkward times, ready to sweep in like a white knight. Whenever Steffi was vulnerable, it didn't matter that Liam had vacillated between Hope and Steffi for years, causing emotional havoc in his wake. What mattered was that Steffi still appeared vulnerable to Liam's presence, his words, touches, and insinuations. Finn had reason to assume anything had happened between them, something more than just a pleasant co-parenting contact. Late-night messages. The covert phone calls. Steffi would return home embarrassed and evasive after allegedly spending time with Kelly and Liam. Finn had been giving her the benefit of the doubt for far too long, and now he was finished. The final straw came on a quiet evening at home, one of the few occasions when he, Steffi, and the kids were meant to have a family supper. But just as he was finishing the pasta, Steffi received a text message. Her phone buzzed on the counter, and Finn peered at the screen without intending to snoop. It was Liam. "We should talk. Tonight." The words sent shivers down Finn's spine. He watched as Steffi grabbed the phone, her expression contorted into a barely hidden terror. She gave a half-hearted justification about going to check on Kelly at Liam's apartment, which didn't add up. Finn did not stop her. He did not question her. He merely watched her leave. When the door closed behind her, something within him broke. Finn had been making sacrifices for years. He'd understood that being with Steffi entailed dealing with her complicated background, unresolved feelings, and intricate family dynamics. He had embraced it because he loved her deeply, truthfully, and unconditionally. But now, standing alone in the kitchen with a half-set dinner table in front of him, he recognized that love alone was insufficient. He left the meal alone and proceeded to their bedroom, glancing at the empty spot on the bed they had previously shared with warmth and intimacy. Everything now felt hollow. A performance. It's a shadow of what it once was. He clenched his jaw, resisting the strong desire to scream. But no, he would not yell. Not yet. The next day at the hospital, Finn returned to his duties with newfound vigor, although everyone could sense something was wrong. He was gruff with nurses and rude in talks. Even his patients, who typically considered him pleasant and reassuring, appeared to detect a cold edge beneath his grin. When Bridget Forrester, a close colleague and friend, approached him and inquired whether he was okay, he simply answered, "Fine," in a clipped tone that warned her not to press. Later that afternoon, while checking patient charts, he noticed Liam's name flash across his phone. Not a message, just a missed call. Finn's hand trembled as he placed the device down. Whatever Liam wanted was not going to be good. And sure enough, when he got home that evening, Steffi was waiting for him, sitting on the edge of the sofa like a pupil bracing for a punishment. They hardly managed to exchange niceties before the incident erupted. Finn was weary of being passive and demanded answers. He asked her directly if there was anything going on with Liam. Her eyes widened in surprise and then instantly narrowed in defensive rage. "How can you even ask me that?" she snapped. "You think I'd cheat on you?" "I don't want to think about that," Finn said, his voice quivering with wrath. "But you're not giving me a reason not to." The argument escalated swiftly. Years of stored rage, half-truths, and betrayals poured forth like poison. Finn accused Steffi of not totally letting go of Liam. Steffi accuses Finn of being insecure and controlling. He reminded her of how frequently he'd taken a back seat to Liam, how he'd been supposed to understand when Liam stepped into their lives. She reminded him that Liam was Kelly's father and would always be a part of her life. But there's a difference between co-parenting and clinging to the past, Finn explained, his voice rising. And you crossed that line. Steffi didn't explicitly deny it, but her silence was devastating. Finn stood there, his chest heaving and his heart tearing in real time. The woman he had planned a future with, the woman he had imagined getting old with, was now a stranger. Then came the part that really sent him over the brink. As if the emotional betrayal wasn't enough, Finn discovered from a common acquaintance that his unstable, manipulative birth mother, Sheila Carter, had attempted to contact him again. Worse, Steffi knew about it but kept it from him. When he questioned her with this, her explanation was thin. I did not want to upset you. I believed it would be best if I handled it myself. You thought it would be better to lie to me about Sheila? Finn exclaimed, the veins in his neck bulging. She tried to kill you. She attempted to kill me. And you're keeping her attempts to communicate a secret? Finn's voice rang out like a storm for the first time in the house. All of the emotional reserve he had developed over the years vanished in an instant. He wasn't violent or cruel, but the rawness of his voice and the rage in his eyes were unnerving. This was a man broken, not by a single betrayal, but by 1,000 cuts he had quietly endured for far too long. He walked the living room, hands clenched, his chest rising and falling with each breath. Steffi sat in startled silence, realizing too late the extent of the harm. I have fought for this family, Finn remarked, his voice husky. I've shielded you, forgave you, and even defended you in my own conscience. And for what? To be lied to, ignored, and treated as a placeholder until Liam chooses what he wants? The words lingered in the air, stinging and final. I can't do this anymore, he murmured. That night, Finn did not sleep in their bed. He packed a modest bag and departed. No dramatic exit. No farewell. Just silence. Because sometimes quiet speaks volumes. Finn maintained his distance for several days. He stayed with a buddy, took a break from work, and did something he hadn't done in a long time. He concentrated on himself. He reflected, analyzed, and attempted to untangle his emotions from the turmoil of the previous several years. He slowly began to rebuild. It was not the end for Finn and Steffi. Not necessarily. But there was a reckoning. A moment when the quiet, devoted doctor let go of the illusion that love alone could cure everything. The guy who had dedicated his life to helping others had finally recognized he needed to heal himself. And the mending began when he stopped swallowing his pain and allowed himself to experience it.